said, a very important factor of your success or ensuring that you become successful is actually accepting pain and suffering. See, what you may have already noticed or may have not noticed is that most people are very fucking mediocre and very stupid and retarded and annoying. And you don't want to be around most people. Most people are very shitty and stupid. I'm telling you, it's really fucking annoying to be around most people. Most people have horrible expectations for life, have a horrible philosophy or vision behind working very hard for their goals. Most people want to avoid pain and suffering, not realizing it's the pain and suffering that actually gives you the skills and capabilities you need to become very successful, right? When you see people, oh, I want to have this thing instantly. Oh, how is there a shortcut to get around this shit? Can I avoid this work? Can I do this? Can I find a way to not have to do this work that I need to do? When you have people who are like that, you're fucked because they're trying to avoid what fundamentally makes you great. You cannot achieve great shit in your life without going through great pain and suffering. You just can't because it's the pain and suffering that teaches you the lessons. You probably understand this when it comes to the gym already. You understand if you want your muscles to grow bigger, you have to put your muscles through an extraordinary amount of pain for a long period of time. Imagine a nigga went to the gym and was like, I want to be strong. So how do I get strong without lifting the weight? You'd pick up a plate and smack that nigga across the face with the plate and be like, you dumbass nigga, get the fuck out of here. How do I get strong without lifting the weight? Is this nigga a head ass? A fuck ass? A dumbass? A derp? Yes, he is. Because what the fuck? You have to lift the weight. And this is true across all paths. Whatever your path to power is, it's all the same. You have to go through a ton of pain and suffering. So, what if from now on you were like, you know what? I don't mind the pain. I don't mind the suffering. I don't mind the time it's going to take. I don't mind having to be disciplined. I don't mind having to be focused. I don't mind having to be bored. I don't mind having to feel uncertainty. I don't mind having to feel doubt. I don't mind having to adapt. I don't mind having to not give a fuck about what anybody thinks. I don't mind having to do these things because this shit is a part of the game. This is actually what makes me great. If you were like that, your success is almost virtually guaranteed because you're willing to go through all the nonsense that's actually going to give you real skill and real capability. You can't cheat this game of winning. If I handed you $1 billion right now, you would not know what the fuck to do with it. And in fact, you would end up spending it all and you wouldn't be able to get it back. Why? Because you never went through the trials and tribulations to get that money. So what happens? God punishes you. How does God punish you? He makes you take shit for granted. He makes you take shit for granted. That's the punishment. When you win very big, but you did not work for it, you naturally take the shit for granted. Because your mind can't conceptualize the pain and suffering because you never went through it. And it's the pain and suffering that gives you the lessons you need to have the thing in the first place. Who wants fucking outcomes without the effort and the work? Because you might sit here and think, no, Ali, I don't want to have to do the effort. I don't want to do the sacrifices. I don't want to have to go through all this shit. But nigga, it's going through that shit that allows you to have the thing. Nobody can take away your effort or sacrifice. It is tattooed on your brain when you go through all of that shit. So even if you lose something, you lose the outcome. You know what happens? You can just get it fucking back. Why? Because you have the skill. But if I gave you $1 million and you never worked for that money, the minute you lose that money, you're never getting that shit back. But if you actually go through the trials and tribulations, if you actually build your skills and abilities, now it doesn't matter if you lose the money because you can make that shit right back. And that's the value you want. That's why the pain and suffering matters. That's why you want to go through it. That's why you don't want to avoid it. That's why you don't want to cut corners. Because when you cut corners, you lose the skills and abilities. That means if you win, it doesn't fucking matter because the minute you lose, you'll never be able to get anything fucking back. So I really urge you guys to not want to avoid the pain and suffering. I really urge you guys to be fine with things taking time. Everything that a mediocre man thinks, you don't want to think the same way that he thinks. Mediocre men, they want to look for shortcuts. They want it to be fast and easy. They don't want to have to work hard. They don't want to have to take risks. They don't want to have to make sacrifices. They don't want to have to doubt themselves. They don't want to be uncertain. They don't want to have to cut off their bum ass friends. They don't want to have to do what it takes. They don't want to. And that's why they're fucking losers. So you just have to think about yourself in the opposite way. You want to have to go through all that shit because you fucking understand that's what it takes to become a winner. And that's what It's really what it is. That's how we move, guys. That's how I want you guys to all move. And I'm telling you, it makes you an inevitable winner. The man who does not fear pain has everything to gain. So, yeah.